Ladies and gentlemen, the time is upon us to begin the semifinals here at the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series. We're live from Valencia, Spain, as we only have 4 players left. One will walk away a champion by the end of the day. I am Nathanius. Welcome, joined on the desk by Tastosis. 2 of my favorite individuals. So good to have you guys over from Korea. I don't get to see you enough. You're like,
I know.
You're so far away from me. Tasteless. We're like, there's nothing better than talking about
I think we're too far away right now. Even
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than talking about classic video games and canon
That's
rushing
right.
with you.
And memeing backstage.
Yeah, it's
all the good stuff.
We had a good set of quarterfinals, and now we're out of the semis. What's your favorite thing that you've seen so far today, Tassels?
I think Haas. I think seeing how well he's played. The fact that that style is so criticized and maligned, slandered, if you will. And of course, people say, well, that's not like the correct way to play the game, and this isn't sustainable. You don't win tournaments with this. You rob better players of wins. And I think we're very quickly finding out, no, actually, he's in the Final Four. He's beating great players. He's got a big variety of off-color strats, and it's really cool to see him now in the Final Four. I'm kind of rooting he goes all the way, actually.
I think he's kind of turned a lot of people into fans of him. You stated your dark prophecy yesterday as Haas started to claw his way through. What about him has drawn your attention to him, Artosis?
Well, I mean, he just plays so differently from everyone else, and he really knows what he's doing in these situations. Like, his skill set is completely different, so everyone's thrown for a loop. You don't know how to play against Haas, but he knows how to play against you because you're playing normal. Yeah.
Everybody being overly cautious doesn't seem to have worked, but we have our first semifinal coming up, and this one feels the numbers are very lopsided recently because this matchup has occurred quite a few times in WCS between the circuit and Challenger. Serral versus HeroMarine. Serral has been dominating not only everybody else, but he's handily taken down HeroMarine several times recently.
Yeah, he has. This is a hard one, man. Like, if Thermal had moved up here, I'd be talking about how maybe this could go either way and stuff. I'm a little bit skeptical of HeroMarine being able to take it, but he does take maps off Serral sometimes, right? So, I mean, he's really good. He's really strong, but this is even who Serral wanted to play against.
All right, we're gonna look into this matchup a little bit more, but first we've got a nice piece to show you our road to the semifinals for this matchup.
This is just too much. Serral up 70 supply, 2-0 in the series. He wants to get himself out of here, and he's going to do it as Serral wins 3-0 over the young Rainer.
It's great to be in the semifinals, even though I was kind of expecting it. But I won already 2 really good players, so it's really good.
Desperately tries to hold on, but the German Terran with his own tanks can continue to push here with those reinforcements. GG!
It feels great to be back in the semifinals again. It's been a long time for me, and achieving a top 4 finish at the Premier tournament is always like the best.
I think HeroMarine is a very solid player and a very consistent player.
Serral as a player, I think, achieved something nobody has ever done, and that's like getting to the top Korean skill level at this point in the game.
I haven't lost any semifinals this year yet, so I don't think I'm gonna lose there either.
Serral, I know everybody thinks that you're the best, but don't feel too confident. I might take you out here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the World Championship Series. Serral, very aware of his record in semifinals, does not believe it's going to change here, and I think that's a very, very appropriate comment for him to make. He's been the best outside of Korea this year.
Yeah, he's confident, rightfully so. He's the favorite coming into the tournament. I think everyone basically agreed with that, and he's the favorite here. But, you know, eventually he's going to be dethroned. And a lot of times when that dethrone comes, it's a surprise. HeroMarine would be a nice surprise here, I think.
Yeah, we're about to bring the players on stage. Tasteless, HeroMarine, is it impossible for him to take this one?
It's going to be very, very difficult. I want to I want to try to hype this one up. It would be crazy if HeroMarine won, but if Serral wins, I mean, that's expected, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's all I can really add for that.
Fair. That's the story that we're going for. Let's bring the players out on stage. It's time to get our first semifinal on the way. Smix is ready to bring them out.
Thank you very much, Nathanias. We'll find out, can our Terran player do what seems to be the impossible and take down the best non-Korean player in the world? Or will our Finnish Zerg move on to his third WCS Grand Finals this year? Let's bring him out. It's HeroMarine and Serral.
It is time to determine our first grand finalist here, the World Championship Series in Valencia. Serral, a two-time, back-to-back Leipzig and Austin champion. The string is where Neeb fell apart last year. He won 3 of the tournaments, but he did not win in Valencia. Serral, however, has made it to the semis. He is in a position to do this, to make the dream happen, and it's such a feat.
Yeah. What does he have to do to actually beat Serral at this point? I'm talking HeroMarine, of course, about that. I don't even know, like, strategically what you should be doing. Like, I can give the easy cheater answer. It's like, well, I mean, you could be Maru, right? And just be, like, even faster and stronger in every way than Serral. Like, all my stats are 11 and yours are only 10. That isn't gonna be the case, so I'm trying to figure out strategically what HeroMarine can do, and I'm
maybe borrow Shibu from Euthermal.
I think, yeah, that's right. He needs Shibu for sure. You know, the problem is that it's a best of 5.
Yeah.
And I think in a best of 3, there's a lot more volatility. You can try to mix it up. You know, there's a reason why we do have best of 5s when you're this late in the tournament, is we want to be very sure that you're the correct player to move on. I don't know if HeroMarine has enough variety, whereas Serral can kind of do anything perfectly.
All right, it's time to find out who's going to take this one. Will HeroMarine upset? The time is now. It's HeroMarine versus Serral.
All right, guys, we have got ourselves our first semi-final here on stage. I am Maynard, and with me is Todd. And this absolute monster from Finland. Does he have a clear road here to the grand finals, or can HeroMarine stand in his way? In the bottom left, from Eds, from Finland, the Zerg, the champion, this is Serral. In the top left here, a red shift. Mal's Esports' Germany's HeroMarine.
HeroMarine facing his toughest challenge yet here in Serral. The absolute titan of this tournament, like every single one of those WCS events, it feels like he's getting further and further ahead of the competition every single time, and as it is now, he just has 2 matches left, standing between him and yet another championship, between him and the three-peat, as Roddy keeps saying.
The three-peat, that's right. We're in risk of it, and honestly, after I saw his series against Reina, I kind of felt like Roddy might be right there with that three-peat. You know, as we were speaking to Serral a little bit at breakfast, just very, very shortly as we're on our way out, and we were like, oh, you know, there's a lot of Reina hype train. Are you afraid of Reina? Is this a risk to you? And he just smiled and was like, absolutely not. Like, I have builds for Reina. This is not going to be a problem. 3-0. And I was like, well, then, you know, does that mean anyone in the semifinals is a threat to you? And he's like, not really. So that is the
blunt and honest.
And but that confidence is so amazing from Serral. You know, he was never that confident in himself, or at least never appeared to be so back in the day. And I mean, it's hard not to be confident when your career has just been getting just better and better every single month.
And how could he not be confident against somebody like HeroMarine? He's 11-1 historically against the German Terran. Just dominant performances every single time. Already beat him in Austin in a round of 8. And in the qualifiers for this tournament as well with another 2-0.
Yeah.
HeroMarine, though, I really feel like he's stepped up his game a lot recently. He's playing better and better all the time, especially in this WCS circuit. He's posting a lot of results. In this very tournament right here in Valencia, currently 16-1 in maps.
That's amazing.
So he's playing great.
Ooh, nearly gets a creep tumor, but not quite. And Serral, of course, never cancels, is not afraid of that Reaper there. So that creep tumor will finish, no problem. It's just a little small scuffle there in the early stages of the TVZ here on Redshift. And Big Gabe, it's been a long time since top fours for him. It was Montreal 2016, the one, the true one. When he first came over to this part of the world, became champion. It was the last time we saw HeroMarine in the semifinals. And I have to agree with you, Todd, in the sense that, I mean, even with that map score solidifying the fact that HeroMarine is better now than he ever has been, although HeroMarine himself will disagree with you. He's never, he's like, he just doesn't seem to be confident in his level of play, or always feels like there's quite a bit of room for improvement. Yeah, I talked to him actually about it, and he had a little bit of contradictory words where he said that he's got some things that he thinks he can do and he can do very well with. But at the same time, he was just like, well, maybe I can win some maps. So I don't know if he thinks that whatever it is that he wants to try here, that's apparently like a special thing, can only work so many times. But yeah, I do hope that we see some sort of control aggression out of him that does well against somebody like Serral, which is going to be really hard. Like it would have, I don't know if it would have to be something new or just something really well executed. Well, at the moment, it's all pretty regular here. HeroMarine kind of doing exactly what Thermal whipped out against Snoot here, which is the 1-1-1 opening. Going for Hellions and Ravens to try and rule the map. Maybe spread back a little creep, stop it from spreading out of control, perhaps even auto-turret harassment, and switching into Bio, which HeroMarine is doing now as Stim finishes, or starts rather, on that Tech Lab barracks. And there are a few roaches coming out for Serral. We don't know yet if he's going to commit to them or not. They could just be for Hellion defense. Gets rid of that Reaper there in the main as well. Serral's really not taking any damage at all. Not much of a scout here, actually. Completely missed that Roach one. We've got 7 Roaches in production here for Serral to try and defend against this upcoming push here that's headed his way with a lot of Hellions. And the one Raven getting a Spore in the main as well, making sure he's extra safe. That creep spread going pretty well so far here from Serral. Shouldn't get denied at all, actually, thanks to these Roaches. This confidence. These Roaches just running out into the middle of the map. No creep spread, no Roach speed. Just marching across. He's got quite a few Roaches, actually. HeroMarine obviously sees all this with the Raven, has been for quite a while. They're going straight in. Not dropping an auto-turret or anything. It's too easy to circumnavigate. He's like, all right, well, I'll get this bunker up. I have a siege tank. I don't see Serral doing a ton of damage with this push here, now that the siege tank and bunkers are 3/4 of the way done. Clenched fists and determination as these Roaches will finally reach the wall of HeroMarine there before a tank pushes them back here for now. But like I said, the creep spread is not being denied at all, and out of Serral, you can expect it to get completely out of control, already reaching almost the middle of the map there. Yeah, sure. It's almost already time for Serral to get a 4th base, so he has so many drones getting up into the 60s here with 1-1 going, and he is getting ranged attacks, so it's going to be probably Roach Hydra, or even just straight up Roach Ravager here from Serral. It's going to be quite, you know, it's one of those unit compositions, we brought it up a few times in the broadcast, where if you're up against Terran with Roach Ravager or Roach Hydra, you need a large army supply advantage to beat the guy that has the siege tanks. You need to have a critical mass. And we'll see if HeroMarine allows Serral to get that far. At the moment, these Hellions have all still remained alive here for HeroMarine. He still has at least half the map darting around. He's lost 1 Hellion here. But them still being alive is nice because they're a threat to a drone line if Serral isn't keeping on his toes. Yeah, the Baning Nest being added on by Serral there. He wants to make sure that against large amount of bio, he can do really well as well. Hellion gets the rest of his big brothers and gets rid of that Ling there on the tower. These Roaches in position, of course, to deal with Hellions. They're ready to throw down. Yeah, no problem here. Lots of Roaches coming out for Serral and a Baneling Nest as well. So with bio, if you're going for this unit composition, you need something that shoots up from Serral that's not just Queens. Otherwise, Medevacs really give you a hard time. Drop play, that sort of thing. There's not too many spores for Serral. At the moment, he's got such a good creep spread that technically he doesn't even need to kill the Medivacs as long as he has the army on the ground ready to clean everything up when it gets dropped. So good job by HeroMarine actually denying that creep spread here on the left-hand side. He might be targeting that later on if he tries and drop the main base and attack on the right side at the same time, because that 4th base of Serral, that's predictable that Zerg will take it down there, and the main is far away from that one. So usually that'll be the 2 points that you'll attack into. Well, Serral's morphed a few Ravagers here, and now he can start to really annoy those SCVs on the gold mineral line. Looks like he's doing just that now with the Roaches and Ravagers. The tank's in position, trying to unsiege it and pick it up, but doesn't get it in time. Nice pick up there for Serral. And the Hellions get surrounded by the Lings as well. Ooh, HeroMarine, not everywhere at once. Yeah, Serral's multitask, he's on point, catches units everywhere, attacks on the gold mine, catches units on the right-hand side, and now in the middle, looking to try and grab some of these Marines and to kill them, but HeroMarine will be able to evacuate. Serral's starting to get completely out of control here on that supply. Look at it. I'm looking at it. It's not pretty. I mean, the only thing that HeroMarine's not going for him at the moment is that he does have an all-right work account, and he has this gold base as well. But of course, he has to continuously dart around, deny mining time because of these Roaches and Ravagers. This map should really be renamed Fool's Gold. The gold is such a risky thing to take, and you often get punished very hard for it, and very easily as well. Hive is on the way here for Serral, as he goes up towards about 5 bases worth of a conquer with a drone count here. HeroMarine losing more and more SCVs.
No, this army is much better.
It's a big one, actually, but just not enough units from HeroMarine. These tanks not on the outside of this gold base, so they can't really chase down these units or push Serral back away from that watchtower.
There's not enough here. These Marines went in enemy territory, north of the wall, in windling territory, beating all of these Roaches.
Yeah, I really would like HeroMarine to grab a couple of these tanks and get them on the outside of the wall to help out his bioforces. He doesn't really need 4 siege tanks nestled into that gold base there. But anyway, Serral is setting up for a counterattack. He's got plenty of units on the right-hand side of the map, hoping that HeroMarine has the front door down, but he doesn't, but he can just make an opening himself.
Oh my god, this E-base. He could target one of them, chooses to go for the depot instead to get in there as quickly as he can. He's going for the eBay now. The upgrade could get cancelled, and I think it will.
Oh man, this is the weakness of taking your eBays at the front of your wall here, and now Roach Burrow's been shown for Serral. No turrets of the mineral lines here for HeroMarine, so he has to scan to get rid of the Roaches.
Oh,
nice
that's a big
drop
pick
here,
up.
though, getting a lot of damage on the bottom right, but how much do these Roaches do?
HeroMarine not doing too bad, actually, cleaning up these Roaches and across the map. Killing a bunch of drones. Didn't get all of them, though, just the 6. And didn't quite get the hatchery either, sadly.
Well, drop still continuing. Just Lings here for here, and HeroMarine has 1-1 in this bio. Doesn't stand and fight, though. Picks up and leaves, looking for a juicier place to drop his Marines to get the damage done. He's actually did a really good job here holding on and also doing an attack on the bottom right. I actually really like this for HeroMarine.
Yeah, Serral got a little bit unlucky because the one eBay that he killed was the less relevant upgrade with the armor instead of the +2 attack. So that will complete now for HeroMarine. And he should be starting his +2 armor here momentarily if he remembers that got sniped. Viper's now in production. Ultralisk Cavern on the way as well as HeroMarine. He's actually not behind in supply, or like just a little bit. And he's got about the same in army. So his army is going to be really strong here if he wants to hit a 2-1 timing in what should have been a 2-2.
This is a beautiful catch from Serral, though.
Oh, everything's team back.
Tanks. And he's coming home as well. This is a great run by from Serral. It's only Lings, and even if they all die, it's something that's absolutely worth it. But hold that thought. We got another drop in the third base here of Serral, but I don't think it's going to survive. The Vipers are here to be able to pull them back, but again, there's not a whole lot that shoots up.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried for Serral as far as dealing with these metapacks.
It was just the one queen. There is no Hydralisks. Needs to pull back those SCVs here. Those HeroMarine on the right side. Banelings are going to try to clean up those Marines. Fights everywhere on the map. Anti-armor missile landing on this huge chunk of army here from Serral, who might have to engage with it still being active on some of his units.
And if all the Marauders come in here, he can soak those Banelings and continue to pressure this. This is the time for HeroMarine to get the job done. The Lings are flooding in, though, and they're very difficult for the Marauders to deal with. Tanks are sieging up. Even the Vipers can assist here. They have plenty of energy for Blinding Clouds or abducting that tank, pushing the bio back. HeroMarine is engaging on creep here, and he's forced to. Still going toe-to-toe, though, microing his bio as quickly and easily as he can here against those Banelings. Serral is starting to plow through HeroMarine's reinforcements.
Yeah, he cleans up the ground. Parasitic Bomb here was used on one of the medivacs. HeroMarine losing everything, and GG gets called as Serral gets the defense he was looking for and claims that first map here in this best of 5.
And those run-bys were so good. Even catching those 2 tanks. Imagine if those 2 tanks that he caught were in that fight for HeroMarine. Sieged up against that ledge there, continuously doing that long-range damage, splash damage against the Roaches and Ravagers. Maybe with the Armor Shredder missile connecting with a few more units, HeroMarine can have a much closer engagement. But as it stands, Serral making all the right decisions in that game, taking very few losses. But HeroMarine had a few real good signs of brilliance though in game 1 there.
And even though Serral won, I feel like those last few fights, HeroMarine was microing really well. He kept on pulling back on time against the Banelings, used anti-armor missile really well. It's just Serral is so good at swarming and attacking multiple places at once, and he gets those run-bys going every time, even against the wall. So what he does is he breaches the wall, and he knows it's going to be really hard to remake that wall every single time and to move out with the units. That's going to have to be open sometimes. So he keeps on attempting more run-bys until they work.
That's disgusting. It is a really nice picture there. Very well done. Goes Serral, but what are you? It's hard to say that this guy with his cold, calculated exterior is human.
A soon-to-be perhaps 3 times WCS champion.
The three-peater. Already secured his spot at BlizzCon twice, taking all the points away from the rest of the world. But there are a few people in his way yet, and HeroMarine is still alive. He's still got a couple lives in the series. Can he fight back? I believe in his abilities. Big game. Has a big TVZ. And let's see if he can whip it out here in game number 2. In the bottom left, from ENCE Esports, this is Serral. In the top right, from Mouse Esports, the German Terran, this is HeroMarine. Lovely crowd, lovely turnout as well. Thank you guys for coming. It's been a pretty sick show, I'm sure you'll agree. Been loving the cheerfuls. Some of them are actually really well done.
Yeah,
Serral one's done.
We got a couple artists back there.
Some good color in them as well. Not
if
a lot
I tried to draw
color.
one of these things, it would look really bad.
You would just embarrass yourself, so
Yeah.
I'm glad you don't even try.
Exactly.
The real spirit of success there.
But yeah, I agree with what you said. HeroMarine definitely has some big moments of brilliance in that last game, in my opinion, despite losing it. And I hope he can show some more of that, because that was, in my opinion, a close game up to the end, where Serral just got the better end of HeroMarine on every front. Inside of his base, on his side of the map, on the bottom right-hand side.
Well, we had a gas first here from HeroMarine, so the faster factory will be coming through from him with the Reaper Expand. All pretty regular stuff from him. Serral, also just hatch gas pull. I'm amazed that in Valencia we have not seen proxy racks at all.
Yeah, it has such a high win rate.
Apparently.
Right?
Apparently.
That meme.
Just haven't seen it at all.
That meme died quicker than it started. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing less and less. I've seen more Zergs like really paying attention to it the last few times that it was attempted, to be honest. And when they scouted it, they sent the drones on time, made sure that the barracks didn't get up easily, and defended it really well. It's almost as if like this stuff never should have worked in the past. But
well, I mean, the Marines and bunkers were never changed in all of the Legacy of the Void. It's just all of a sudden the strat just appeared.
Yeah.
It's kind of what happens when players get a game for a little while, start to figure a few tricky things out.
HeroMarine build order-wise, that was, I think, okay, like what he did last game and stuff. It's just, should he have had his E-base in his wall? I guess that's like an integral part of it, right? Like it's timed.
It gives you a really fast wall, which is nice,
Yeah.
but you know, and it's a very high hit point wall as well with lots of surface area. But
Maybe just a bit more map awareness, because if he had his army in the right place. And also, I think a sensor tower around the wall of his natural would help so much, because then he'd see units coming. Like it might seem like it's a big investment, but the opponent will not be able to hit the proper run by if you just see his units as exclamation marks coming towards you, right?
It's kind of the weird balance of StarCraft 2, especially at this level, is that the players like Serral who cut very little corners. If you try to do things that if you do things that do cost that extra bit of money that could have made the difference, then people will try to make sure that things like sensor towers. If you don't need to make it, you don't make it. Bunkers. If you don't need to make it, you don't make it. Even though it keeps you safe, you'd rather those resources be put into something that has a more percentage chance to get the job done.
There's a whole dynamic around this, because as Terran, you cannot, like with Protoss, swap in your units straight, like where you want to bring them, right? So you have to make them in the main base. Then they have to run outside of that wall, which means you have to open it all the time, close it again, open it, close it. And that's why Zergs like Serral, they really understand that, and they try to run in there all the time. Just like this, like he sees as an opportunity there, the wall's not up yet at the natural, gets 2 SCVs. That's Serral for you.
That's Serral for you. Two Lings go into the natural and main of HeroMarine and kill 2 SCVs. Keep in mind that HeroMarine is like nearly 7K on Europe himself, and this happens. These 2 Lings aren't meant to do anything. But this is Serral's units we're looking at here.
Oh, actually, you're doing it. Is that an extractor trick? We got a Bolt Viking actually on the way to snipe some Overlords. And the Armory now starts, actually.
All right, held that attack here, maybe with a Banshee.
I think it's smart, but I mean, Serral is just so good defensively, whether it's with Queens, Zerglings, and in this case, he's even getting the Roach one already. So, in cleaning up that Overlords, HeroMarine can basically hide how many Hellions he's making, but Serral fully knows that because he lost his scouts on the other side of the map, there is a chance this could be coming. So does he get enough units on time? That's very important for HeroMarine to do damage with this. It's a big investment. If he makes these Hellions, runs them in as Hellbats and kills no drones. Sure, it's prevented drones from being made and forced units, but Serral is already on 50 walkers against 38, right? That wouldn't be enough.
No, that's absolutely right. And he already has roaches on the way here. So the roaches are out and they're ready to fight already against the Hellbats, which is a good unit to have.
Plus one vehicle weapons.
All right. Okay. Well, we might be seeing mech here from Gabe, from HeroMarine. Extra gas is being taken. We'll keep an eye on that production tab. Certainly looks like it so far. There's the Hellbat drop in the main base. Serral obviously sees that because of his creep spread. He's dropped that extra tumor in the main base.
And he's sending units at the third base at the same time. Let's see how Serral reacts. He sends a lot of links. He's getting some roaches right now. 2 additional factories in the meantime started for HeroMarine. I think he was pushed back around the third base, so that didn't do much of anything there. Actually losing that back.
Serral's actually not trading very well here against these Hellbats.
Yeah.
And that medevac was not healing those Hellbats for a while there. Came back for a little bit of juice, a little few hit points for those Hellbats, but does survive in the end. Hellbats go down, but gets quite a few lings. It looks like a roach went down as well.
So Serral is already getting roach tech against mech.
Yeah.
Which is not bad, obviously, but when will he realize that this is mech? You know, if he blindly dropped a Baneling Nest and stuff, that'd be pretty bad. And he's actually getting links right now. I mean, obviously, they can still be really good. He can attempt run-bys and stuff, and then if he manages one, it would be good, but... Oh my god, is that... He's getting double eBay?
Double eBay? No.
Did I see that right? I thought I saw that in production tab.
I don't think so. It's just the... Oh,
yeah.
It does have double eBay.
Is that a oh, that might be a mistake.
Yeah, I don't think he's...
I was like, really? The Apollo mech into bio transition?
That's
I doubt it.
Jimmy Hose actually did a little bit of that, but it never worked out for him, at least not in the Telegraph Pro games, where you try and get double bio upgrades while getting double mech upgrades. This overseer sees everything that Serral wants to see.
Yeah.
And the Tech Lab barracks here, I kind of feel like he might be throwing in some Marauders here. Or
oh my god, yeah, it starts 1-1.
Oh my god. So,
big transition. I think this is what he was talking about when he said that he had something in mind that he would try against Serral. So basically, he gets Hellbats and tanks, so he's fine against Lynx and Roaches, or is he fine, actually? That run by again.
Oh,
this is what I'm talking about. This keeps happening. Serral is always fishing for it. He knows that Terran's going to be looking elsewhere, goes for it every time. Actually, this is well defended.
Front door's open, he gets a bunch of SCVs, but a lot of Lynx did have to die for them, so HeroMarine still has a bit of an army, although the kiting here with these Roaches and Ravagers is quite nice, doing a lot of damage to the Hellbats. Just picking them off, pulling back, peeling off any damage you can do. Even killing these gases is nice because Gabe is trying to go for mech.
Yeah, why has mech not been doing very well these days? That's because Zerg's got really good at Swarm Host. So by going mech in the start, HeroMarine is kind of baiting out the Swarm Host from Serral, but then he will go into bio. So he starts Team Pack. He needs those barracks, actually. Like those are really delayed because of all the work that Serral has put in. And I feel like, I mean, careful what you wish for. You wanted some Swarm Host. I don't know if you're going to be ready for them. There's 12 of them in the production tab, Maynard.
Yeah, that's right. He saw a barracks with the Tech Lab. Maybe he thinks, it is tucked away at a very conspicuous location, but maybe he thinks that was just there to switch over for something else. Maybe he wants to build a factory next to it and switch it over, but that's a really bad spot for a factory. It could actually, like, you know, block some of the bigger units. Have a very weird sort of reinforcement path. But he's going to go for a mixture here. He's even getting Blue Flame for his Hellbats, which is going to be great against the Locusts. This is such a weird unit composition here from HeroMarine. On paper, it seems like it should work, and that's really exciting, but
he fell behind for sure here because of the run-by, right?
Yeah. I mean, HeroMarine has 72 workers, which is really good, and he probably doesn't even need SCVs anymore. But as long as his gases are saturated and he can start to get towards that planetary, he should be okay. Here comes those Locusts. The Hellbats actually aren't on the tanks here, so the Locust's going to pick up a couple. Oh, man. That's a bad start already for HeroMarine. The Roaches and the Ravagers just going straight through that tank line. The Liberator doing a bit of damage from the sky. He doesn't quite kill it, but this third is still under threat. Look, it's low in hit points as well. A half hit point command center. Let's get a few more workers. Again, the SCV situation for HeroMarine is not too bad. Yeah, he just needs to get more of an army. I'm just worried about HeroMarine's staying power here.
Yeah, it feels like this is never going to stop. Actually, I love the move by Serral to morph some more of these Ravagers to spam corrosive bites on the siege tanks, because as soon as those die, this is lights out, and Serral is just going to keep on spamming these Locusts straight into that tank line. Yeah, another tank's going to die there. This is what these Ravagers are designed to do here.
Whether the locusts get cleaned up or the roaches get cleaned up, the other one will do the job. HeroMarine cannot deal with both. He doesn't have the units. Now he's losing all these SCVs. That's too much. GG. Serral showing the world that if your opponent does something weird, just go kill them.
Trying to bait out some Swarm Host. Careful what you wish for, HeroMarine.
He got his Swarm Host, all right. Killed him before he even got Blue Flame. I saw the theory there from HeroMarine. It looked smart. I was thinking with the Tech Lab factory, Tech Lab's barracks rather. I thought maybe Marauder, maybe Ghost, maybe something weird like that. But
if Serral was less good, maybe it could work. But he's not. He's just that good. And that run by was definitely a big problem as well. Even though he defended well, like he lost mining time, and that slowed him down a whole lot more. He wasn't starting the barracks in all of this time. Yeah. Because he didn't have the minerals, and he was busy doing other things.
There are a lot of high-level Zergs that this probably would have worked against, but not this Zerg, not this guy.
It's crazy because, like, if you think about it, when there is a wall off, a run-by should never work. But Serral is so good at still making those run-bys work. He takes the attention of the Terran away, fights him with roaches on their third base, and he's like, oh, you're not going to be looking at your natural, and that wall has to be open. It's almost as if Serral was like a Terran player before and fully understands like the flaws and the weaknesses of playing Terran and how the wall-off works. And he always gets those links in there.
That's right. Know Your Enemy. Great song by Rage Against the Machine. My favorite bands. Serral certainly knows Terran very, very well. Knows them well enough to be able to eat them apart from the inside. That wall being down, like you mentioned, is such a very common thing for Terran. You're reinforcing a third base. All of your rally points down at third base. You're sending your bio units out there, the front yard, with your tanks. And then all of a sudden, one depot's down, and in comes 20 Zerglings. Splitting your army, splitting your attention. Down go the SCVs. And you lose your reinforcements as well, especially when up against Serralings. Serralings seem to be bigger and just have an extra armor point and extra couple damage per nibble. But that was that game, and this is the next one. Already, Serral on match point. HeroMarine against the ropes. For him to come back would be an absolute miracle. Let's see if he can do it here on Dreamcatcher in the bottom right. On match point, this is Finland's Serral. Ooh, guys are packing it out there. And the top left against the ropes. He needs 3 in a row. Send him your energy. This is HeroMarine. Now, Dreamcatcher is a map where Terran can be considered favored. I consider this map a very good Terran map against Zerg, specifically.
But against Serral?
That's the thing. That was my next point. You took the words out of my mouth.
Against most Zergs, maybe, but these guys just on another level right now. Serral is just absolutely unstoppable. In that last game, made it look easy. Just hit a big run by. Even those first 2 links, that was one of the things that also slowed HeroMarine a bunch. Or those first few links, yeah. He killed 2 SCVs with it, then the run by. If you remove both of those things out of the equation, and maybe let's say like Serral managed, or like takes a little bit of damage against the Hellbat drop, suddenly we got a completely different game on our hands. But no, when he's the aggressor, he always finds the damage. And when he's the defender, he's always perfect. He does 0 drones against those Hellbats attacking. Even killed 1 Viking at the top in that last game.
At this high level of StarCraft, it feels like the guy who makes the less mistakes wins, rather than, you know, what you decide to do, that sort of thing. It's just trying to mitigate mistakes. You
say that to Haas.
Well, I guess he is the exception that proves the rule. I mean, if this is going to be a 3-0 from Serral, if HeroMarine doesn't have what it takes here in Dreamcatcher to start to fight back, God, I hope Showtime and Haas don't make too many mistakes.
It's interesting. Actually, if Showtime had to face Nurcho in the semi, then he would already have had to show a lot of his PvZ, but now he has to play a PvP, so whoever wins definitely will have like a fresh mindset for a potential PvZ in the finals.
Well, Showtime had a pretty regular sort of PvZ meta builds against Serral when they played in the grand finals of Leipzig. But didn't get away with it then. And I doubt Serral will get away with it again. I think hopefully Showtime has something in a bag of tricks, like you said. Some build that is specifically tailored for this guy. But of course, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Oh, nice move here with a Reaper. Trying to deny this third, or at least slow it down a little bit. There are 2 links here from Serral with speed, so the Reaper cannot hang around too long. Hatchery's going to go up, and the Reaper will die.
I mean, he saw what he wanted to see. Knows that the third hatchery is starting where it is here, there on the right-hand side. So, gonna be getting a tech lab onto that starport. I like Ravens, like early game, like you get like 1 or 2 auto turrets can do a lot, and then you are elsewhere with like Hellions and stuff. But Serral defensively is just so clean that it's really rare that you'll see him lose a lot of drones to that kind of stuff.
Well, it's not going to be Raven this time. It's going for the old school Banshee and Cloak immediately. Not even a Viking first, which most Terrans will these days to push back those Overlords. Will we be seeing an Armory or anything here from HeroMarine, or is he just going to transition out of this? There's a few options when you go for this opening. It's a pretty dynamic opening, actually, for Terran. Potentially can do a lot of damage, and it can also potentially be completely deflected. Zerg has all the tools in their arsenal to do it. If you identify what it is, Spore Crawlers and a good amount of Queens can generally get the job done.
Actually attempting a scout there is Serral. Overlord gonna fly right in there.
He should be able to see.
Might be able to see, yeah.
Should be able to see before the Overlord dies. There's only 1 Marine here.
That's a big deal, actually, because he can get fully ready very easily against this now. Yeah, sees that the starport's researching. Like, you know it could be a cancel, but you can't take the risk anyway. You have to get like at least 1 or 2 spore.
Well, spores are going up for Serral, and this is the start of the defense here. You get those roaches out for the Hellions, the spores and the Queens to deal with the rest. This one Hellion already taking quite a bit of damage from the Queens. Nearly dies as well. That would have been a bad start there for HeroMarine. He's not getting an Armory behind this. He's getting a 3rd CC, though, as part of his wall. I like having a 3rd CC as part of the wall more than having your engineering bays as part of the wall. Things like Redshift happen when you start losing your upgrades.
Yeah.
There is an Armory coming down. All right, so he's going to go Hellbat Banshee. A little bit later of an Armory, so...
Oh my god, you need to move.
Yeah.
Very good job by Serral, actually, not attacking this at first, making sure that the 3 Queens weren't going to hit at once. You remove so much of the HP, but so many Hellions are going to show up onto that 3rd base, and those drones, they're trying to scramble to get away. Such good movement by Serral.
Yeah.
Making sure he doesn't lose any. Look, did you see how many Hellions that was? Isn't it amazing that he somehow just kept on moving away and lost nothing there against them?
There wasn't really a path for the Hellions to go around and chase those drones at the bottom because of the Queens.
But that's because he moved so well. That's the thing.
It's great control, great defense from Serral. Quite flawless in his defense there, taking very little damage. Did he kill the Banshee as well? See that? Ah, no, it's not dead. Okay, well, that's all right for HeroMarine here because Serral does have those roaches. They are a threat to him. Banshee's very, very good against roaches.
Whoa! +1 vehicle weapons, 2 factories, and double eBay again. He's gonna try the same thing. Some more biomech play here coming out of HeroMarine.
Cool.
It failed last game. Like I said, his links, like in the start, got 2 SCVs and then the run by. So this time, just look out more for the run by. Make sure that doesn't happen. I'm guessing because of the map overlay, it's gonna be a little bit easier. Still definitely could happen though. Well, he wants to have upgraded tanks, upgraded Hellions.
As you say that.
Well, I mean, this one, he wants that to come in. He'll lock the door gladly with a depot behind those links.
He'll be stuck in here with me. Overseer coming in here is going to see those factories again, and also the barracks with the tech lab.
He sees everything with this.
Yeah, it's hard to stop this Overseer when you're going mech. You know, he didn't open with that Viking, he opened with the Banshees, so he doesn't have that, that flying air unit, that Overlord remover, which is a good little edge for Serral. Serral going for a pretty quick infestation pit behind this as well. Sorry I missed that, but it's 3/4 of the way done, so he's going to have a pretty quick hive as well, which is a pretty fantastic tool against mech.
Does he do the same thing as last game? Oh my god, the Banshee's actually getting caught. One of them is going to die, the other one's going to get away. Do we see Serral starting Swarm Host here? Does he want to do the same push as last game without having the same kind of lead that he had? That's the big question. Or does he start a hive, like you said?
I'm a big believer in if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if Swarm Host worked so well for him, if that is his confidence play, he is getting ranged upgrades, so Swarm Host make a bit of sense.
Yeah, 11 of them, actually.
Okay.
Enjoy that. Enjoy your Swarm Host.
Well, I mean, to deal with a Swarm Host here, you need to have enough Hellbats on your tanks to stop the Locusts from picking them off. HeroMarine kind of mispositioned his Hellbats a little bit with those first Locust waves on Lost and Found. Hopefully he can make those adjustments here on this game as he starts to switch over into getting bio production down as well.
Oh, that's so many Swarm Hosts. 13 in total are being made, and HeroMarine, I think this will hit at the timing, just like last game, before he can have enough bio to really defend this, at least. He's covering his tanks better. Like you said it last game, like the tanks got jumped, like he wasn't ready for that wave. It came from like an odd angle, and then like Locust started landing on top of the tanks.
It's because his Hellbats were fighting roaches that were attacking his third base.
Okay, he sees the Swarmhost. We need to cover all that. Transform.
These need to be Hellbats right now and split on these tanks as well, and he's starting to do that now. Serral comes in with the bounce for Ravages. Uh-oh.
He makes sure he lands on top of the tanks, and he's going to clean 3 of them instantaneously.
And that's already fantastic for Serral. HeroMarine keeps a lot of his Hellbats alive, and he does have Blue Flame this game, which is a nice bit of an edge difference than the last one, but he lost 3 tanks immediately there. Look at the army supply difference here, Todd. I don't know. I know I don't have to tell you to look at it, but just look at it.
Where did you think I was looking? The middle of the screen? I don't think so.
At the action, at the game, the production tab.
You don't need a night tracking device for this one, Maynard. Looking all the way down. 126 to 57. Absolutely mad here. And he's getting 2 more.
This is really, really bad for HeroMarine. Well, let's see if these Blue Flame Hellbats can get these tanks alive this time. They are repositioning. Serral target firing, though. The Roaches and the Ravages attacking again for the natural. Oh, man, 2 more tanks go down with this Locust Wave, and Serral has enough units to kill up the Hellbats as well. The Bio's stimming down and try and do what it can with 1-1 upgrades. And Serral's like, okay, let me just Aster them down to death and break up in your wall. Super Depot, cool, nice. I'll break through that as well. Natural is under siege. 8 SCVs have died as well. Every Locust Wave, every push forward with Serral's units is calculated. It is effective every single time. Every attack Serral makes does damage.
The biomech experiment has failed, I'm afraid, Maynard. It was nice for HeroMarine to try something like that, but Serral is just too good to lose to this. He keeps on landing on top of the tanks as well. He ignores everything else, keeps on lowering the tank count up until it's 0, and then the Roaches can overwhelm. GG gets called, and Serral moves on to the Grand Finals.
We got him in a Grand Final again for 3 WCSs in a row. HeroMarine unceremoniously excused from the tournament. Serral is just too good in this video game. He makes so few mistakes. If you aren't a fan of this guy already, please start now. Do yourself a favor. This guy's showing how incredible the gap between good and great can be. And boy, do I hope Showtime or Haas can show us a way to defeat this kid, or it is going to be another Serral three-peat. Let's go to the stage with Smix and Serral.
Thank you very much, Maynard. Congratulations, Serral. This is your 3rd straight WCS Grand Finals, which is absolutely amazing stuff. So first of all, what are your initial thoughts headed into that Grand Finals?
It feels great, like always, obviously. There's not too much else to it.
Short and sweet. I feel like your side of the bracket sort of progressed as anyone would have expected with you going straight to the Grand Finals. The other side of the bracket, however, I think surprised a lot of people because of Haas. So when you look at how Haas has done so far, taking down players like Special, Laser Killers, or Nurchio, does that surprise you at all?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty surprised when Haas won Special and Laser. Now he's been winning Killazero and Nurchio, so it's very good for him, I guess, but yeah, it's very surprising, and I don't necessarily want to face him. I'm a bit scared of what he has to offer, but yeah, it's very good for him.
Now, I know you just said you don't necessarily want to face him, but obviously Showtime is a really amazing player as well. So if you sort of had to weigh the two, do you have a preference? Is it Showtime because he plays a little bit more standard compared to a player like Haas, or I mean, what's your choice there?
Well, I wouldn't say I have a preparation, but I would still kind of like to play against Showtime, since I think we have very great games normally, and it would be a great final, I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans would agree with that, but we'll find out which opponent you will go up against, as that will be the result of our next semifinal match coming up right after this. So for now, congratulations, Serral, again on your 3rd WCS Grand Finals. Nathanius, back to you.
Thank you very much, Smix, and Serral makes it look easy, wiping the floor with HeroMarine in this best of 5 with almost no difficulty, it seemed.
It's funny, it almost seemed like a mismatch, but yeah, that was one of the final 4. And the fact that Serral completely and totally just crushed through here against HeroMarine, I think HeroMarine gave it his all, and I'm sure he's going to be happy, you know, getting the placing that he did in this tournament. But Serral, he's looking unstoppable at this point in time.
Yeah, he looks pretty invincible, but I think actually both the players on the other side of the bracket have a chance going up against him. He even just said that he's a bit nervous to play against Haas, and him and Showtime, they do always have great games.
Do you think that either one of these two players that he will go up against have a do you give them a realistic shot at beating Serral?
I actually
Absolutely.
do. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I do.
Okay.
I think it's Serral is still clearly the favorite.
All right.
If Haas is there, it's going to be incredibly interesting because obviously he doesn't play it like anybody else. You kind of have the yin and yang here with Showtime and Haas, where Showtime is like the standard proper, if you want to get good, study Showtime. And then Haas is the shows the wild side of Protoss, the fact that you can take risks, you can break the rules, and you can get away with it.
And the last thing I'm going to ask about, because I thought this was interesting, HeroMarine trying for like this reminds me of like a fantasy build, like back in Pro League where he'd open with this like 3 factory mech and try to go into bio. Do you think he was just being a little too fancy there?
I think that it was actually a very interesting build, and I haven't seen it, like you said, that's like a very old, like a fantasy-esque or
that's
something.
That's what I remember. It's like years ago.
Yeah, it's so old. It's such a dated way to play, but obviously revamped by HeroMarine. And I'm really interested. I want to see more and learn more about this, but Serral, he
tried to mix it up, and you died because it wasn't fast enough.
He's like, oh, I see you're doing a transition. Die right now. And it's just brutal.
Yeah. Serral once again moves on to the grand finals. And in Control and I, we were talking with people in the back. We're like, do you guys remember the days when we didn't really know who was going to win these tournaments? Serral has been so damn good. He's in another grand final for WCS, his 3rd this year in a row. And he awaits the winner of Showtime and Haas. Really, just a remarkable achievement from Serral to maintain this level of consistency across the board all year.
Yeah, this is truly, truly impressive. And I mean, we had Neeb doing some incredible things last year, but Serral looks like he's ready to surpass that. So we'll see if he can. I mean, he might do it today.
Yeah, and I mean, the big shaker-upper has been Haas. He's been the dark horse of this tournament, and he's playing in the next series against Showtime. It's going to be a PvP for the ages, probably a crazy one. Showtime and Haas coming up after this break. Our second semifinal. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the World Championship Series.
Dad, the other kids on chat say my